I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing.
Hey everybody, want to welcome you back to another session of Printer to Printer with me, Warren Werbitt, your host, and today's special guest. Actually, he is my first guest to be on for the second time, and we have David McNerney of Think Patented. How you doing, David?
I'm well. Good morning, Warren.
Good morning, good morning. Before we get into anything, you want to talk about anything you're up to quickly?
Well, I'm in the printing industry, right? We're up to something every day, all day. So,
All right.
yeah.
All good. Okay, so just quickly, I owe you a congratulations because you were promoted not long ago to be head honcho or president in corporate terms.
Yep. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was just promoted to president, and certainly an honor. And I've been with this organization 14 years, and certainly proud to be in this position now.
So what does that mean now that everybody comes to you with their problems?
Yes, it means I've got a lot more people that I have to help, support, play psychologist, play all those different positions.
It's actually funny you say psychologist because when I was talking to my kids about earlier on in school and what they should do, I said you should take a psychology degree because if you're going to go into any business dealing with people, if you got that psych degree, you've already got an advantage, right?
Right.
Because you get to know. So needless to say, my daughter just got her master's in social work, but she's not going anywhere near business. So that's all good. In terms of print, how are you? How's everything now that we are past what we're past, but we're not really past because we have all these supply chain issues. And I think from what I hear from people, that's really everyone's biggest thorn right now.
Yeah, it's I think really the new normal is just that every year there's a new challenge to tackle, right? We've got to kind of lose that term normal because I think that's gone probably forever. We're certainly challenged with the supply chain. We are not nearly in the position that the web companies are in. Um, we were very proactive early on with buying paper, getting as much as we can, making sure we're using allotments correctly, and then just good timing. Last year we had opened up a new 50,000 square foot fulfillment center, so I had the space to store all this paper. So
Did you have the money? Did you have the money to buy all that upfront inventory? Because that's another factor out there that's causing a lot of people aggravation because they were in good financial standing before, and now all the speculation, the paper, they're using up their lines. It's just tying up a lot of cash.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think we've been very responsible and conservative as an organization, financially, and making sure we're in good position with our vendors as we see them really as key partners to our business. So that hasn't been as big of an issue. Certainly, it ties up our cash, and we don't like that. But it's helping us because of the position we put ourselves in. It's actually helping us win new business.
Cool. Another thing comes to mind in chatting with people. I remember before pandemic, people were ordering a lot of just in time and a lot of rush, right? Has the customer realized the fact or accepted the fact that on certain things you can't turn around that quickly because you are managing paper and supplies?
I don't know if they've accepted it. You got to remember on their end, they have resource issues. We all have resource issues, people issues.
All right, that's why I'm asking because
Right.
What's good for one is good for the other, and it should be that we all understand a little better.
I think they understand it. They understand the supply chain. They get it. They've surprisingly they've understood the price increases. They may not like it, but they understand it. So yes, we've been able to work with them, asking for more time, getting them to look forward as best they can. They're doing that. The only challenge there is as they have resource crunches, when they would love to get to something or get some artwork put together, they just don't have the people to do that. So either they're coming to us for us to help them, or B, that artwork is coming to us later than they would like to. But I think we've been in a good position where we're ordering a lot of paper way ahead of time for our clients.
Okay, but don't deliver too early. We want to get the industry where we control it, not the customer. Because honestly, in the past, the customer controlled it.
Sure.
They'd come to us with an order, and if we said, "Well, can we have an extra day?" They'd say, "No, we're going to go to the other guy because he said he could deliver, even if he couldn't." Right? Everybody was playing us. So again, I always say now it's our time to try to take back the industry, make sure that the pricing is fair, that we all make what we should, not rip the customer off or overcharge. Although some clients feel that they're being overcharged, and of which that I say, and I just had something with a client who was complaining, because I do sell a little print. I was complaining price, and I just said, I'm really surprised because you deal in a business that uses a lot of resources, natural, so you're paying, they're all a lot of fuel based. I said, but like this piece of paper, but when it was a tree in the ground, how many times was it in a truck before the finished paper ended up in the facility? And we all know the price of gas today. Yet I don't hear anyone complain about FedEx's surcharge for fuels. Just other people's surcharges for fuels, right?
Right.
So I think we just have to get better standing. You mentioned your clients and they're having some labor issues. Aren't we all having labor issues?
Yep.
Are you having issues? And if so, if not, great. And if so, how are you coping?
First, if anyone comes on your show and says they are not having labor issues, you should end the interview probably immediately because they're full of it. We're having some. What I've seen from friends and folks across the country, it seems like some of the bigger cities have had some more challenges than we have here in the Dayton area. We've tried to be very proactive with, if you go to our Facebook page, you go to our LinkedIn pages, our social pages, where we're trying to highlight, we're constantly talking about some of the things we're doing for hire, not just that we're hiring, but what are some of the things the benefits for those employees in these positions. We've also we started this a couple years ago as our apprenticeship programs. And we started this knowing that we thought labor was going to be an issue. So I can't find them, so I've got to grow them. So I know right now, I believe we've got 3 apprentices in the shop. I just heard we've got an apprentice out on the press and a helper. And the press manager came back in and said, boy, this is one of the best guys we've had in a long time. And so that's exciting.
Wow. The other thing that we used to do is we used to cross-train everybody on everything. I mean, we had pressmen on a 56-inch folding or cutting or just helping out in large format and vice versa. And excuse me, I found that gave people a little bit more comfort too, because they weren't so worried about if something over here ends, am I going to lose my job, right?
Sure.
Because when areas get a little tough, I mean, there's almost so much painting you can have people do in the shop, right?
Great example. One of our second shift pressmen on our 40-inch press, we've cross-trained him on our new 100K, HP 100K press. And not only does it help us out, he loves it. He loves the fact that he gets to bounce around and see new technology.
And not get dirty.
Yeah, that too.
Crazy. Okay, another question. I'm just thinking, you're part of an association. I used to be part of a different one, but you're part of the Graphic Arts Alliance Association. Mm-hmm. Basically they're just a large buying group where where many printing companies come together and then they go out and make deals and negotiate so that you can have better prices and or service or something. How's that working out for you, or how do you find that? Good.
We've been part of that association or that alliance for a number of years now. I just spoke with my purchasing person today, and when you look at the 4 or 5 different paper companies that we're getting rebates from, ink manufacturers, some other organizations, it's been a great thing for us, and we've been able to certainly realize some benefits. And I think beyond that, we're also part of a group with like-minded individuals, and it gives us networking opportunities, allows us to pick each other's brains.
Or get work done in other parts of the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I remember when I was part of a large buying group as well. First thing was, I always love the rebate above and beyond, right? I love the fact that whatever deals I had with the group had no bearing on my local market pricing.
Yep.
Because everything was above the local market people, right? It's like kind of big giant corporation. And I did a couple things with the group. I used the association with the group in my marketing to let people know that I was part of a multi-billion-dollar organization that had roots all over.
Right. Right.
So that if they needed something in another place or somewhere, I could offer up the service, either be handling it or just referring them to someone. Sometimes it's better that you don't make some money and you just give off the job.
Yep.
But it just gave all the reps even something else to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. We were on a call yesterday, my director of mailing, with one of our we'll say one of our alliance members, having a conversation with their mailing folks and talking about software and even process. My mailing person this morning comes and goes, man, what a great call. What a great way for us to learn from them and them from us.
It's nice, you use the term like-minded people, but it's so true. Funny enough, yesterday I posted something on my YouTube channel, which you should go to and subscribe. And actually, what I posted was, I was in the hospital the other night, unfortunately. It was all good. I'm fine. But when I walked out, I noticed all the signage. And then I made a video about thank God for signage, because if the signage wasn't there, the guy driving the car might not have known where the emergency exit was. And then I talked quickly about the signage through the hospital, the registration, filling out the forms, the scan rooms, and getting all the right stuff. And on my YouTube channel, some guy went on and said, like, dude, what are you talking about? Print. Like, get a life. This isn't worth posting. And I was like, buddy, you don't understand. Print's emotion. He goes, what do you mean emotion? And I kind of stopped the replying back and forth because it just told me that he's never going to get it. Mm-hmm. But then I went on and I just looked up some stuff about emotion in print and started reading color and what it does. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Print's amazing. Color's amazing. Right? Yeah. Color definitely gets you going. If you use interior decorators and they paint your house, they're giving you colors that make people feel up and alive.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's pretty. Anyway, it's pretty good. What do you have? Are you doing anything super special? Have anybody in your place done anything that stands out that you want to mention or remember?
The reason we're in business, the reason I'm able to have been promoted to this position is because of 130 people behind me. Whether it's customer service, whether it's the press guys, the hand bindery folks, working all the hours they work, putting out awesome stuff. I don't know. It's just, like you said, I am not a lifelong printer. While I've now been in this industry 14 years, I got to tell you, I love it. I love it I love walking into a store across the country and seeing something that we produced, thousands of miles away. I just think that's cool, period.
Wow, you know what? That was always, so I remember when I started, and I got into the print, loving it right away. I don't know why, it just consumed me, but I remember I used to be in the supermarket, and the wife would be at the cashier just putting all the stuff through, and then I'd hear like, Warren, where are you? And I'd be in the aisle looking at some packaging going, I can't believe this is in the store. If I delivered this, my customer would have refused it.
Right.
I always wonder how everybody else's stuff passed, but mine always got caught, right? But it is so true with print, and it doesn't matter if even I printed it. I stop and look and get excited by anything colorful, bright that anybody else printed.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to get more people to say it, but the truth is, without us, right, there is no other business.
Right.
You go into a pharmacy without any labels, you can't get medication. It'll kill you all.
Sure. There's something I want to highlight. You said, is there anything we're doing cool? And we're all having labor issues, right? We're trying to find people, keep people, retain, all that jazz. One thing is we've put together a Fun Bunch committee, and we did this a couple years ago. But our Fun Bunch committee is coming out with some really cool, exciting, fun things that are engaging our employees. And I'm just going to highlight one that was which was a huge hit, right? We did this around the March Madness timeframe. And instead of doing a March Madness competition and bet on the basketball, we did a March Madness rock, paper, scissors contest where everybody in the company was bracketed, and pressmen to salespeople, accounting people to fulfillment, shipping to wide format. And it allowed our employees to meet some people they maybe don't run into on a daily basis. It was awesome. It was our first annual, and it's going to become an annual event for us. So
That is very cool. So I hope you're making some video.
next,
right?
we will in the next one, even to the
Okay.
point where I would love, as we go into the Final Four, do some sort of hype video for that Final Four.
Okay, I just got the greatest idea. If you're doing it in March with March Madness, you got to coincide the days of the rock, paper, scissors tournaments on the same day as the calendar of March Madness. And then you have to do the video. And at the end of it, you have to have the highlight reel of the highs and the lows,
Right.
right? Like they do on CBS at the end of right down to like the final basket, cutting the net down.
Yeah.
You could probably make, oh my God. And then I'm sure the people in the place would just be thrilled with something funny like that.
Yeah. We weren't sure how it was going to go, and it was a huge success.
You know what I found in the past? When you get employees together, it's generally pretty good, even if it's terrible, the event. But they get to talk to each other about how terrible it is, and then they commiserate together. But it's always good, like you said, some people are meeting people they normally wouldn't speak with, right? Mm-hmm. And then they find out and then they talk. But those events are just so huge in the bigger picture of long-term connectivity within the company and people appreciating everyone. I remember one event that we had, we used to have a pretty active social club, which I was not involved in, but we had 2 elected people by the people. But I try to be present in all the events. But we had a paintball event once.
Nice.
And paintball can be rather painful when hit with the paintball. And we get out to the place, which was a really cool place, and the whole forest wood set up. And then only for me to find out that I'm the guy in the orange suit hiding in the woods.
Nice.
So for the team, I took a lot of welts for the employees being able to hit the boss.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Priceless on their end, painful on my end.
Yep.
But all good, right? Today we got to be creative and really go. I think today we really have to go a little bit above and beyond.
Yeah, I agree.
With the people, I think we have to, when we talk about the young people, we have to make it more engaging and not to disrespect the old people. But I kind of find myself in this place where I have conversations even with my kids who talk about things that are changing, and I'll say something, and then they'll say no, and then I think back to, oh my God, I remember with my parents, right? They're going through the same thing with me. So now I can say to myself, when I'm talking to young people, stop and don't answer, right? And just flip over and put yourself on their side and try to come at it from their side. What a great perspective. I mean, we were mentioning 4-day work week, right? The positive side because of COVID, what we learned, some of the negatives, but some of the difficulties of doing it.
Sure.
But the one thing you don't do when they talk about it is say no. You have to engage in the conversation so that at least both sides, I think, could feel like there's a conversation for an understanding for the outcome.
Right.
So today's more communication than anything, I think, in most companies.
Yep.
How comfortable are your employees reaching out to people or managers with thoughts, ideas, complaints, positive things?
Good question. We have always had a very open door policy. We try to foster that a little bit. We've got a breakfast with the partners each month where we randomly select people to, hey, come on in, and anything's on the table. You want to talk about your kids? You talk about your kids. You want to talk about the lunchroom? You want to talk about your job? Great. And so way to foster that. And then myself and certainly some of the other partners in the business, I know I'm walking around the building at least once a day saying hello to everyone, just trying to create those relationships. And when you create those relationships, they feel more comfortable to open up to you. So I think not just in our business, but I think employees overall are feeling more empowered to do that.
You think?
And
in general, they're feeling more empowered.
And they're not holding back.
And you know what? They shouldn't hold back, right? They shouldn't hold back. I mean, first of all, everybody should always be respectful at any level to anybody in communication, right? No, but I say that because sometimes when people don't like what they might be hearing on one side or the other, they feel a disconnect. So I just always want to stress it. But I find when people don't put what they're thinking on the table, it kind of just leads to more pain down the road because it builds up and then it usually explodes in a bad way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You
And
know?
sometimes those informal conversations, when you're going through the plant, you learn so much more in that environment than you do in a meeting.
Oh my God, absolutely. I once had, I was once trying to encourage everyone for ideas because I always thought that the people in the plant knew more about what was going on, about the way things were going, and would have some of the better ideas to make improvements because they're living it, not me sitting at the desk thinking I know what's what. But I put a suggestion box in the lunchroom and offered up $50 or $100 to everybody who put suggestions in. And and then it was just going out and just giving everybody $50 cash to say thank you. But what amazed me was how many people did not put suggestions in, right? And the ones that did would get $50, and some of them would get the extra 100 for the right suggestion. But the trick was you got to take all the suggestions and then discuss with them what's feasible, plausible, what's not, and why.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You don't just take them and because then again, that creates some more communication within, and they're learning because most of them don't know what we know.
Yep.
Not that we know what they know either, right? Because I was never a pressman.
Right. Or they're just looking in their world, and really, when you take a step back and look more from a macro level or global level, maybe that suggestion doesn't make sense. But in a small, when you're looking at a microscope, yeah, maybe it made sense.
Yeah, no, cool. Yeah, so many things that we could do, so many things we have to do, so many things we have to remember to do.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
But it's a work in progress. So I'm about to cut you off. And before I do, I always like saying that at the end to people because I don't get to do it anywhere else. But is there anything you want to, final word, saying, go?
No, I think a couple things. Certainly love seeing all the videos, and whether it's coming from you, Warren, or even others in the industry. The engagement in the industry right now, as I'm sure there's some folks that are struggling. I know there's also a lot of folks that are taking advantage of the times and making the best of it. And I'm a firm believer when we get presented these challenges, it allows us as organizations to truly transform or evolve. And we're seeing that with our business. And so we are very excited about the future in front of us.
Awesome. You know what? You always have a good attitude. That's the other thing that's more important in our industry. Everybody must maintain a certain level of excitement.
Yeah.
Every business has its up and downs, but our business is the best business because, like I said before, every business needs us. And my thing was always every person that I met or meet is a potential customer of mine or yours in some form.
Yeah.
Print, data, signage, packaging, labeling, mailing. It's everywhere. So
Absolutely.
I love it. Anyways, David, I just thank you again for coming on. Again, I want to comment. You are the first person to be on the second time. Send me your address. Send me your address.
Good thing?
Oh, it's a great thing because you know what? You're going to send me your address, and I'm going to send you a Print Whisper sweatshirt.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then if when you get it, make sure you put it on, take a picture, post it, tag it, so that I could follow up with it. Everybody else, I want to thank you for. Actually, what I really want to thank you for is I am getting unbelievable emails, comments, notes. I'm at conferences. People are coming up to me. It is so humbling. It is so cool. You all make me feel so good. For that, I say thank you. If anybody wants to know anything, reach out to me. If you want to be on the show and you got something to say, send me a note and we could chat about it. Otherwise, Warren Werbitt, I love print for what they think, and just everybody keep printing.